show you an armbar next. It's a little bit of a different type of armbar. It's a little bit more unexpected, coming from, again, a side control or a side mount position, but a little unique. So a lot of times when I go through it and I show people this submission, they go, wow, like I would have never thought to attack the arm that way. So Stefan's gonna go ahead and lie down on his back. And we went through this whole top position flow drill, right? Because I wanna be able to maintain control of my partner when I'm on top. Once I get here, I'm looking to actually come to scarf hold. So I lay back, I have this arm wrapped around my waist nicely. Now when I get here, I wanna think about playing with this arm. Stefan, of course, is thinking I can't leave anything exposed, I wanna keep everything in tight. I'm just gonna reach back with my outside arm and grab his wrist. Because I'm smaller, I can't just force open his arm, right? So all I'm gonna do is shift my hips back. When I shift my hips back, it's enough for me to just plant his arm on the ground and use my legs to open it up, just a tiny bit. It's a really subtle gesture, but it can help control somebody that's much stronger than you. The next thing I'm gonna do is, again, his arm still might be stronger than me here. So I'm just looking to push it open a tiny bit. I'm gonna look at my outside leg, and I'm looking to bring that through, and I'm gonna step on his wrist. Once I step on his wrist and Stefan gives me a bit of tension, that's fine. My leg is probably gonna be a little bit stronger, at least, than his bicep, right? So I've stepped on his wrist and I've got my knee wedged in right behind his arm, okay? So now what I'm gonna look to do next is pull my knee through. As I pull my knee through, I'm gonna kick my heel all the way out towards his head. So again, I've stepped on his wrist, knee pressure, knee comes up onto the bicep, kick the heel through. Now, at this point, Stefan's probably gonna start wondering what is going on, and he's gonna wanna curl this arm back in. That's fine. At this point, I can let him go. So I'm gonna drop the foot, his arm curls back in, and I'm gonna go for the elbow, and I pick it up. When I pick the elbow up, I'm looking to bring my knees together. And what that does is it actually creates a bit of a locking motion so that Stefan can't drop his elbow to the ground. Feels awkward, right?
Yeah, it feels like it's trapped, and my elbow's resting on this thigh. It can't go through your thigh to the ground.
Now, a lot of times when you're applying this, your partner on the bottom is just thinking, man, this is a pretty bad position for me to be in because I feel like I'm getting controlled here, right? But because most people haven't had an armbar set on from this position, they're not expecting it to show up. What I'm gonna do now is where it's sort of like a little unexpected, right? So I'm here, I've got my knees pinched together, and I'm looking for my partner's motion and their response. So Stefan's feeling uncomfortable, he's trying to pull his elbow in, or he's maybe looking to sit up a little bit, and that's fine. He's gonna sit up, and then he's gonna relax his muscles for a time being, because he's gonna shoot back up again in a second. And right before he does that is when I wanna turn, okay? So as you can see, I'm facing towards his head right now. I'm gonna look to turn my body, and as I do that, I'm gonna kick my leg over his head, and I'm gonna throw both and try and drop my heels. As I do that, I still have his arm trapped. I'm gonna lay back, and we have an arm bar. This too can be thrown on really, really quickly when you pivot your hips and get into that motion. So just be really careful with your partner's arm. We'll take it from the top. I'm in side control and I'm looking for the scarf. I switch out. I have my partner's arm around my waist, and again, he's stronger than me, so I can't necessarily strong arm him, right? I'm looking for the wrist, and all I want to do is shuffle my hips back and use my leg to help me draw his arm out. So now I've started to isolate his arm. I'm going to push out his wrist a tiny bit, and I'm going to look to step on his wrist. Once I've stepped on it, I'm going to bring my knee over, sneak it over a little bit more, and throw my heel through. At this point, Stefan definitely knows something's going on. He's gonna look to pull his arm back in, at which point I'm gonna grab over his arm and pull his elbow up. Trap it with both knees, so pinch those knees together. The other thing to keep in mind here is that the lower Stefan's arm goes towards my pelvis, the more of a chance it has of escaping. So I wanna try and draw that elbow up towards my knees if I can. When I'm ready, I'm gonna look to swing my legs over his head and lay back.